Chairman, and thank you, Ranking Member, for calling this important hearing today. I think we've done our job as Congress and as this committee and subcommittee really codifying this commitment to future deep space exploration, and we want to see that happening. I think in the opening remarks by the Chairman and Ranking Member, as well as the opening remarks for all the witnesses, there's a consistent theme here. We need a vision and a strategy. Dr. Magnus, you talked about having this broader strategic vision. Where do we want to go, and then setting concrete goals. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I grew up in a time, and many of us grew up in a time when we were curious. We set goals. We didn't know how we were going to get to that goal. You invoked President Kennedy setting out that goal. We grew up in a time where we talked about what we could do as Americans. General Lyles, you talk about, if we want to do this, we can do it. We don't shy away from that challenge. In fact, we can meet that challenge if, in fact, that's what we want to do. So we've got to set that goal. We've had the opportunity to meet with Administrator Bolden, a few months ago, again expressing this commitment to set, for NASA to set a goal, for the administration, the President to set a goal. We're working, with this committee, we've drafted a letter to the President because we want to see that commitment. We want to see a clearly articulated strategy from the President that says, here's what we're going to do, here's the time frame we're going to do it in, and here's how we're going to get there. We need that as a time frame. Dr. Pace, you touched on this is just not about going to Mars. It is in our geopolitical and national security interest to also continue to reaffirm our commitment and our leadership in space, because it is increasingly a national security issue. It is increasingly a geopolitical issue. With that, I look forward to working with our committee and subcommittee as we push the President to clearly articulate a commitment to deep space exploration. With that, let me ask some of my questions. Dr. Magnus, I agree with you wholeheartedly that we have to have a strategy here, and then we have to have clearly defined goals. What would you articulate as, if the President were sitting right here, what that strategy should be?
Well, clearly there's been enough discussion around Mars that the consensus in the community is that's our ultimate place to go. I think we still need to flesh out what are we going to do when we get there, and what's going to be our sustaining effort on Mars. Are we going to set up a base and have people visit it occasionally? What kind of science are we going to do? What kind of technology do we need to develop there to move even further beyond? So I think we still need some discussion about that. But in that context, then I think the questions you need to ask are, what technology needs to be developed, what capabilities are important for our country to develop versus how we might leverage international cooperation, because I think it will be an international effort. So we have to look strategically at the capabilities and the technology and the types of experience we want our country to lead in, and then build that into the plan. Then we have to look at where we are from an industrial viewpoint, how we want to leverage the architecture to continue the utilization of low Earth orbit, and then what series of missions do you use to build up these capabilities and demonstrate them to reduce the risk of going to Mars. And those are the questions that would frame that plan.
Fabulous. So in a matter of 30 seconds, you've laid out a strategy, a goal, and some steps to reach that long-term goal. Part of this also is all the additional benefits we get when we stretch our goals. I'm a physician by training. I can think of innumerous medical benefits as we deal with how we're going to deal with the radiation risk, how we're going to deal with the sub-zero temperatures and so forth. I mean, there's tons of applications that are going to come off of this, tons of jobs that will be created off of this. So again, I wholeheartedly encourage the President, and again with this committee, and look forward to working to push the President to clearly articulate what that strategy is, that goal is, so then we can do our job in Congress, working towards hitting that goal. And again, I would say we're a country that doesn't shy away from challenges. If we set a goal and we clearly articulate that goal, I think to quote General Lyles, never underestimate what the American spirit can do. And I wouldn't, if we want to do this in 7 years, we'll do it in 7 years. But let's actually make that commitment. So thank you. I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman.